Hi, this is Mike Madura and you're listening to the ZiFM Sport Podcast.
Z, the hottest station in the nation. ZiFM Stereo.
It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted!
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in! And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes.
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they come back, they've got all the excuses. You can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
Someone once said that weekends were made for dancing, but we'll recoin that and say that weekends were made for sport. And what a weekend it was at home as well as internationally. There was football, there was cricket, tennis, there was quite a lot of sport. Even stateside, the NFL has hit the business end, as well as the NBA, which of course is purring along nicely as the teams jostle for positions ahead of the playoffs that we'll see, of course, come the end of April, May and June. This is ZiFM Sport on a Monday. Today, it's just a two-pronged attack. It's myself, Mike Madura, as well as Barry Manandi, and Sean Tafirinika is behind the desk. We lead the line for the most popular, the biggest sports show in Zimbabwe, as we take a look back at the weekend that was.
Indeed, and league champions FC Platinum kicked off their CAF Champions League campaign on a positive note with a goalless draw against Orlando Pirates at Barbourfields. Bowlers Duanne, Olivier and Kagiso Rabada ended Pakistan's resistance as the Proteas cruised to a 3-0 Test series sweep following a 107-run victory in the third and final one-day international at the Wanderers. And David de Gea produced a string of superb saves as Manchester United held on to beat Tottenham and secure a 6th win in a row for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
There is no better place to kick off than in Bulawayo, where Orlando Pirates head coach Milutin Micho Srdejovic has lauded Zimbabwean side FC Platinum for the impressive showing in their match on the weekend. The Buccaneers were held to a goalless draw against the Zimbabwean outfit in their CAF Champions League first group stage match in front of a packed Barbourfields stadium in Bulawayo on Saturday. The match results on Saturday meant that all teams in Group B are tied on 1 point each after reigning African champions Esperance of Tunisia drew 1-1 away to Pirates' next opponents, Horoya SC of Guinea, in their match, which was played on Friday evening. And of course, speaking to the Zimbabwe media after that match, Micho, the Wolf of Serbia, praised the opponents for Saturday's match while also predicting a good tournament for Pure Platinum play.
We have played against very good competitive team coached by a very good coach. It has been like a game of chess where we really needed to take care of every details. And in that regard, I would say that doing the homework and looking at the opponent, they came with a setup that we have expected. I need to tell you that from goalkeeper Mhari until Dube up front, that all the players have been extremely impressive. We know all of them. I would just say that nobody has not looked to play for himself. He has played for team, and exactly that team effort put them in position that they have played very well against us. And in respect to my colleague coach, in respect to the players, I would not go to individuals. I would just say great individuals that they have played very good football as a team.
Z,
And Barry, it's credit to FC Platinum and the way they went about their business at Barbourfields Stadium on Saturday afternoon that an experienced African campaigner such as Micho Zdrojevic should speak so glowingly about the effort that Pure Platinum Play put in front of a jam-packed Barbourfields.
It's some compliment, because a compliment is given weight from whom it's coming, and it's coming from a season campaign on the African continent, both country and club, someone who understands what it takes to succeed on the continent, and saying that FC Platinum have got a good thing going. And I hope that team spirit that he speaks of, that commitment to cause that he speaks of the players, and that ability that comes out of the dugout with Norman Mapeza remains throughout this campaign, because who knows, we could see FC Platinum actually make a significant dent. Whether they proceed or not is another matter, but certainly make a dent on this campaign.
Micho Zdrojevic, the Orlando Pirates coach, they're speaking about the fact that it was a tactical affair. It was a chess match, he says, that where you had to take care of every detail. And I know fans usually like to take a look at the players. They love to discuss the action on the field of play, but you've got to say that the one highlight of this match was the tactical battle, the battle of wits between Michu and Mapeza.
Most certainly, and you could see it even in the phases of play, because what you get is that you'll get moments where Orlando Pirates would dominate for 5-10 minutes and be it'll be backs to the wall for FC Platinum. Then all of a sudden something would happen, and FC Platinum would be out, and it would be happening on the other side end of the pitch for another 5-10 minutes where FC Platinum would be on top. And I think it was you move, I move. And in truth, for me, yes, I'd have loved to see goals. Yes, I'd have loved to see a spectacle in terms of hitting crossbars and the ball hitting the back of the net. But this was the most entertaining 0-0 draw I've watched here in Zimbabwe for a very long time.
That draw was a satisfying result for FC Platinum coach Norman Mapeza, who was keen to kick off the historic group stage campaign for FC Platinum with a positive result ahead of the daunting trip to Tunisia to face holders Esperance. Let's hear from Mushina Wamajuzi.
Yeah, for us, we of course wanted to win the game, but I can't complain. It was a massive performance from the boys. I'm happy with the draw. I'm more than happy with the draw. It's a game of football. You can't just go there and maybe attack without any game plan. We had our game plan, we wanted to win the game. And it's for what you said, what you asked about, we're coming from off-season. For us, I don't think it's because we're coming from off-season or something like that. I think we've been playing football since January up to now. So maybe I might say the boys are a little bit tired. But we have to keep working hard. We still have about 5 games to go. Let's just enjoy this journey. That's the most important thing. I'm enjoying this journey. It's my first time to be in the Champions League, CAF Champions League. So we'll keep working hard and see what happens.
And that's a good point, isn't it, that he makes, Barry, that this is an experience that very few of those boys would have enjoyed, being on a continental campaign of this magnitude. You have to look at perhaps at Ali Siddiqui when he was in the Congo, but beyond that, they're very short of experience at this stage of the competition. Maybe Devon Chaffa with Caps United, of course, but beyond that, they're very short of that experience at this stage of the competition. And it's important for the boys to enjoy the ride and learn, because the one thing that they are guaranteed is another stab at it next campaign.
Another bite of the cherry is coming hot on the heels of this one. So they've got, I think it removes a bit of pressure, albeit that, listen, being sports people, they would want to win every single match, every single contest that they enter. It gives them a bit of the fact that they've got 2 bites of the cherry. It says to them, let's learn on this one, and then whatever we've learned, we've got a chance to implement it in the next round, next campaign as well. So FC Platinum have got a golden opportunity, and I love the way that Norman Mapeza is going about it. Very pragmatic.
Yeah, very pragmatic about it. Showed a lot of respect to Orlando Pirates, but he was also complimented by the South African outfit, which showed a lot of respect to FC Platinum whenever they were on the ball. They had 3 centre-backs, did Orlando Pirates, and then the wing-backs would tuck in to make a defensive back 5 whenever FC Platinum was in possession. And it just speaks volumes of the respect that the coach, Micho, of Orlando Pirates had for Norman Mapeza and his charges. What does it mean for FC Platinum? It means that they go into match day 2 with hope, Barry, because a defeat on the opening day would have been disastrous for FC Platinum in terms of their psyche. We talked about the fact that they got players who are inexperienced at this stage. it would have been disastrous for them, because they might have just got into their heads that, you know what, we don't belong here. Perhaps we're not as good as these other sides if Orlando Pirates can come and do a number of us or on us on match day 1.
Yeah, and they'll go into that second match knowing full well that they deserve to be there, to borrow the phrase that you use there, and also knowing that they've got wind in their sails now, because the rest of the group it's open season. Each team has got 1 point from one game played, so any one of these teams can do a number. Also, the fact that the stadium was full, and not necessarily full of FC Platinum fans. It was almost an away match for FC Platinum, and they managed to get a draw.
Let's talk about that, the packed Barbourfields Stadium. I mean, it was a throwback to the heady days when the likes of Tulani Villanueva, Desi Capena, Cesar Bantu Koza, Blessing Gumise, those players were playing for Highlanders, and Highlanders was in its golden era where they won 4 titles on the spin, and the Barbourfields Stadium would be as packed as early as 1 p.m. It was a throwback to those days. But you've got to say that, the crowd that came to Barbourfields Stadium, Barry, they got full value for their money. And there have been a few videos that have been going around on social media. One, of course, with a very prominent person, that is Benjani Marwaru, who was seen scaling through, of course, one of the entrances to access the stadium. But Barry, having got there when the stadium was, let's say, 80% full, I think 85 to 90% full, and this was at about 1:30 in the afternoon, what were your impressions around the organizations and the match day organization and the match day experience for the fans?
Yeah, it seemed very good on the basis that the stadium was full early. What may have sort of put a fly in the ointment for those fans who arrived possibly at around 2:15 was the fact that the stadium was full by then already, and it was tough to get in. But those that did get in, as you quite rightly pointed out, got full value because they saw entertaining football, quality football, which again points to the fact that if we can deliver a quality product in this country, the fans are willing to show up. They want to watch quality football. Then it says to all of the footballing family that we're not delivering a quality product, and that's why the fans are answering with their feet and not showing up.
Yeah, that's why fans complain when the gate charges are hiked up to $5 instead of the usual $3. We think that it's because of the price. No, it's because of the quality of the product.
And they paid $5 on Saturday.
They paid $5 on Saturday. They were happy to pay $10. They were happy to pay $20 because the VVIP section was packed. Yeah. And the VIP section was absolutely packed at Barbourfields Stadium, meaning that if the product is right, if the show is going to be good and it's promising to be great entertainment, the fans will show up. I want to talk, Barry, about that Benjani issue, because for me it's important, because as someone who's that prominent and someone who's a former captain, he's bound to have a lot of sympathizers who say, perhaps Benjani was ill-treated, perhaps Benjani was treated badly. But it's important to point out that, sometimes I think it's important, if you're a prominent person, if you're a dignitary, if you're a person of Benjani standing, why not communicate to the match organizers, to FC Platinum, to ZiFM? Let them know that you are coming, you're going to be attending the match. Because Benjani did not arrive when they were still seating in the stadium. He arrived when the match had actually started and the stadium was packed. And therefore he was trying to access a stadium that was already packed.
Absolutely, and dignitaries, you're absolutely right. Dignitaries need to communicate ahead
not
of
just
time.
show up.
It just makes sense, and plans will be made for you in order for you to enter the stadium. So, 100%. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Let's take a look at the upcoming fixtures in Group B. This coming Friday, FC Platinum will play their second match and they're away in Tunisia. They're taking on Esperance. On that very same day, Orlando Pirates will be hosting Horoya SC of Guinea at the Orlando Stadium in Soweto. And then the third game for FC Platinum will see them take on Horoya on the 1st of February. That'll be at home, and I would like to think, of course, this match will be played at Barbourfields Stadium. And Orlando Pirates, with back-to-back home games, they will take on Esperance.
Hi, this is Benjamin Locke. I'm on the Zimbabwe Davis Cup team, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Let's wrap up the rest of the weekend for you in tennis news. Budding tennis star Rufaro Margarida scored her maiden tournament win in the ITF, that's International Tennis Federation Junior Circuit, after clinching the girls under-16 title at the ITF Southern African Regional Tennis Championships in Windhoek, Namibia. The 15-year-old Zimbabwean, who was seeded second in the tournament, beat the fourth-seeded Kelly Arends of South Africa in straight sets 6-4, 6-3 in the final. The ITF Southern African Regional Tennis Championships served as a qualifier for the African Junior Championship. In athletics news, National Athletics Association of Zimbabwe NAAZ President Tendai Tagara is confident the 27 coaches who are taking up an upgrading course under the tutelage of internationally acclaimed athletics instructor Volker Herman will help transform the sport in the country. The 7-day International Association of Athletics Federation's Level 2 coaching course began last Thursday at White City Hall in Bulawayo. Herman is a German high-performance sports consultant and was assigned by the IAAF to conduct the course. Let's wrap it up with football news with impressive triangle forward Delek Murimba, a man that Michael likes a lot.
Top player.
He could make a huge career breakthrough if he makes a grade at South African football giants Mamelodi Sundowns, where he has been invited for trials. The forceful striker left today for a 10-day assessment at the Duanne team. Murimba made a huge statement, loud enough not to ignore, when scoring 5 goals in the COSAFA Under-20 Championships staged in Kitwe, Zambia in December last year. The 19-year-old star helped Zimbabwe to a silver medal after they fell to South Africa in penalties.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it. To all you Twitter heads, connect with ZiFM Stereo on twitter.com/ZiFM Stereo /ZiFM Stereo.
From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Cricket news now. Duanne Olivier struck twice in his second over of the morning with successive deliveries to put the Proteas well on their way to a 107-run victory and a 3-0 series clean sweep against Pakistan at the Wanderers. The visitors needed at least one of their remaining 3 specialist batsmen to score a century to have any chance of pulling off an upset victory, but Olivier virtually eliminated that possibility by first dismissing Pakistan's best batsman Babar Azam for 21 and then followed the dismissal of captain Safras Ahmed for a duck next ball. Pakistan were all out for 273 in their second innings, with the 7 remaining wickets falling for a meager 120 runs. The third test scores read as follows. South Africa 262 in their first innings, Markram with 90, De Bruyne with 49, Fahim taking 3 for 57 for Pakistan. And then in their second innings, 303, Quinton de Kock scoring 129, Amla with 71, Shadab taking 3 for 41. Pakistan in their first innings, 185 was their total. Safraz, the only batsman to sort of make a dent with 50, and Baba scoring 49. Olivier taking 5 for 51, and in their second innings, 273. Shafiq with 65, Olivier taking 3 for 74, and Kagiso KG Rabada taking 3 for 75. South Africa winning by 107 runs and win the 3-match series 3-0. Let's get the post-match thoughts of South Africa wicketkeeper Quinton de Kock.
Yeah, I mean, I think any test century will mean a lot. I've worked hard at my game over the last couple of months, and to finally get the rewards has obviously meant a lot for me. I think, me and Dale Benke, he's been helping me this last while, especially just a couple of technical things, and I think that's just helped me going forward into the games. Yeah, obviously the big man has been bowling really well at the moment. He's been doing it for such a long time at franchise level, and for him to come do it at an international stage, obviously it was a great show, and obviously everyone's pleased of him for what he's done for us.
Fittingly, Quinton de Kock with his thoughts there, because in truth, that 129 he scored in that second innings, laying the platform for clinching this match, wasn't
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fantastic performance, and you don't get performances of that nature very often from Quinton de Kock. He's a decent international batsman, and so he would have been relieved that he's also contributing with the bat instead of just the glove in this particular series. And I like the fact that he had a true all-round game for the Proteas, because he finished with 7 dismissals in the match to go along with that second innings century that you have just mentioned. And of course, he was duly named the man of the match. He also finished, of course, leading run scorer in the series and the only one to score more than 250 runs. So a big contribution for him in this particular series versus Pakistan. And he'll feel good about himself, because as a batsman, he's often overshadowed by the likes of Hashim Amla, the likes of Faf du Plessis. You know, those guys tend to get all the plaudits when it comes to the batting. And so he'll be happy as a wicket keeper to actually have added that batsman status to wicket-keeper batsman, and of course been noted for his batting performances.
You talk about the man of the match in Quinton de Kock, but let's talk about the man of the series. My goodness, Duanne Olivier putting up some big
other
numbers.
bowler.
5 for 51. Yes, the other bowler.
The other bowler, yes, because that's what he entered into this series as. He was the other bowler.
Support
who's the guy who's coming in, to be the third seamer.
Exactly.
Because we got Dale Steyn and we got Kagiso Rabada.
Yeah.
Those are the main guys that we've got. And so everyone's taking a look at him as the other bowler. And Vernon Philander as well. He came in this particular match, and so not a lot of people were looking at him to be the bowler that would of course led the line for South Africa, but he has done that, and he deserves his status as the man of the series. He took 24 wickets, and he was only one shy of the South African record for a 3-match series, and of course it came at a cost of only 14.62 runs per wicket. So the Pakistani batsman obviously struggled against him, and he has done himself a world of good. I think he has sealed his place in that team, because you can't drop a guy like that.
Yeah, 100%.
You can't drop a guy like
100%.
that.
100%. And just looking at those 24, taking 11 in the first test, 5 in the second, and 8 in the third. That's a measure of consistency that any is in essence any cricketing coach's wet dream. He would love to get a cricketer who can deliver at that level, and Duanne Olivier doing it for the Proteas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with Dale Steyn sort of like reaching the tail end of his career, I think they can look at Olivier as a guy who's going to pick up the mantle that Dale Steyn is going to leave, because you still got Vernon Philander with I think a few seasons left in him. Kagiso Rabada is just starting out as an international cricketer, and then you add Olivier into the mix. They have a very potent bowling attack. In fact, a potent bowling attack that can hold its own against the very best in the world. They're in a very good place as far as their batting, their bowling is concerned right now, the Proteas.
I'd certainly agree with that. Now focus now switches to the 5-match one-day international series starting at St George's Park in Port Elizabeth on Saturday. Quick update in that match, Australia versus India. Rohit Sharma's 22nd one-day international century came in a losing cause as Australia beat India by 34 runs in the first one-day international in Sydney. India sealed a maiden test series win over Australia at the SCG, but slipped 1-0 down in the 3-match 50-over series at the same venue on Saturday after failing to top the hosts 288 for 5, despite Rohit's magnificent 133 from 129 balls.
Zimbabwe's finest radio. ZiFM Stereo.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
Golf sees us take off in Hawaii, where Matt Kuchar recovered from a poor start to cruise to his second victory of the PGA Tour season by 4 shots at the Sony Open. Kuchar led by 2 overnight and had just 1 blemish on his scorecard over the first 54 holes, but his customary composure slipped early on the final day at Wailai Country Club as he endured a torrid run of 3 bogeys in 4 holes. That left him chasing playing partner Andrew Putnam, but Kuchar roared back to form on the back 9 and carded 5 birdies, including 3 3 over the last 4 holes to secure his 9th career title with a winning score of 22 under par. Over to Texas, Steph Curry scored a game-high 48 points, 24 in each half, and dropped the game-winning 3-pointer to allow the Golden State Warriors to escape Dallas with a 119-114 victory over the host Mavericks on Sunday night. Curry, who scored 16 points in the first quarter, made 11 3-pointers and scored the final 9 points for the Warriors in a game the Mavs led 113-108 with 3 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the game. Touchdown in Melbourne. Andy Murray produced a superb fight back in what might have been his final match, but eventually lost in 5 sets to Roberto Bautista Agut in the Australian Open first round. The Briton, who is hoping to play at Wimbledon, battled brilliantly before losing 6-4, 6-4, 6-7, 6-7, 6-2. Roger Federer began the defense of his title with a comfortable 6-3, 6-4, 6-4 victory against Denis Istomin. In the latest draw, Caroline Wozniacki started a defense with a 6-3, 6-4 victory against Belgian Alison van Uyadich. World number 2 Angelique Kerber also moved into the second round with a 6-2, 6-2 win over Slovenia's Polona Hedgehog, while 5th seed Sloane Stephens beat fellow American Taylor Townsend 6-4, 6-2.
The Daily Sports Trivia question is brought to you by Proteas. Proteas, your feed and farm professionals.
It's competition time. Simply send us a WhatsApp message with the hashtag ProFeedsTrivia and you might be the one lucky listener we call back. You'll of course field 2 questions, and if you get both correct, you'll be our daily winner and in with a chance of winning our fabulous first prize of the year 2019, a Capri Double Door 290-litre fridge. What a way to start off your year. And of course, the first draw for the year will be on Friday, the 22nd of February. And we do have a caller on the line.
We do indeed. Musungo Maramwidze from Avonlea. Good evening to you, matey.
Good evening. How are you guys? How are you guys doing?
We're all right, thanks, matey. Michael, show some Hunduism. He said, hello, guys.
How's it? How are you doing, Mus?
No, I'm good, Mike. How are you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Enjoying the show?
Absolutely. I love the show, guys.
Moose, we understand you're a Liverpool fan. How does it feel to be top of the league?
It feels great, man. There is no other club besides Liverpool, man. And I think this year is going to be our season, man.
Oh, we
keep going as well, eh?
We all believe. Thankfully, the haters are not in the studio today. But Moose, you got to answer 2 questions and you'll be our daily winner. With a chance to be on that monthly draw. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
Okay. Your first question. Which Harare-based rugby team is popularly known as Sportivo?
Is this Harare Sports Club?
Harare Sports Club is correct.
So well done. Nice one. 50%.
You're 50% there. All right. You're right at the line of a pass mark. Now let's get you all the way with the second question. Ladies tennis ace, now retired, Steffi Graf, is of what nationality?
Oh, wow. I used to follow her. She was one of my favorites. That's Germany.
Yeah, fantastic. Well done, Musungo. Congratulations. You are our winner today, and you're in for that monthly draw. It'll take place on the 22nd of February, so keep listening to the show, matey.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for playing.
Thanks for doing what you're doing, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Have a great one.
The Daily Sports Trivia question was brought to you by Proteas. Proteas, the performance feed.
Alcohol may be hazardous to health if consumed to excess. The operation of machinery or driving after the consumption of alcohol is not advisable. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years.
Casa Lager is more than just beer. It's pure liquid gold, crafted from the finest local ingredients to deliver a taste that is somewhat dry, somewhat bitter, but never sweet. It's the taste that stood the test of time. It all comes together with a castle.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. All the rivalry.
The captain lights the touch paper.
stars.
Absolutely brilliant again from Mo Salah. The twinkling feet, the ice-cold finish, the Egyptian on fire.
And all the game-changing moments.
Aguero!
All the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
This is the league we want to watch.
And no better place to start than in England, where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer held Manchester United's complete team performance as they saw Tottenham Hotspur 1-0 at Wembley to extend his winning start to 6 games. Marcus Rashford scored the winner a minute before half-time, but David de Gea stole the plaudits with 11 saves in an impenetrable goalkeeping performance that single-handedly kept Spurs at bay. Solskjaer acknowledged the impact made by David de Gea and Rashford, but thought his whole team were worthy of praise after overcoming the toughest test of his assignment so far.
Well, results-wise, I think go away here and beat Tottenham. I think that's fantastic. Obviously, we hung on second half. I thought we never got to grips with it when they changed the system. But you're allowed to have a good goalkeeper. I thought we did really well second half. You know, when you got the pace of Rashford and Martial, Lingard, got the cleverness of Paul, Ander, Nemanja. The plan was to go quickly, pace, attack quickly with pace. Obviously, the goal was fantastically taken by Rashford, but you know the defensive job Jesse does and the pass from Paul is just that's half the goal. Fantastic. Obviously, when you make 11 saves, that's a top performance. But then again, I thought it's maybe 1 or 2 that's really good saves, and the rest of them you'd expect David to save.
And now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has equaled Matt Busby's all-time record of winning his first 5 league games in charge of Manchester United. You've got to say, Barry, that there were a lot of doubts when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in as caretaker manager, and people thought that he was going to be just that, a caretaker manager, someone to manage Manchester United through a transition. But right now, he's putting his hand up for the job, isn't he?
He certainly has. He's going to give the Manchester United hierarchy a very difficult decision to make, because they were very clear that he was there to do an interim job, see it until the end of the season, and then they were going to appoint
someone. If you are Ed Woodward,
yeah,
do you stick to that original line of thinking that we brought in this guy short term, he's going back to Molde in Norway, he's just here to see us through the second half of the season, we still need to get a top-class, world-class manager? Or do you say, okay, he's now thrown his name into the thing?
Yeah, I'm glad that's how you phrased it. If that's the case, then the second option is where I would be, where he is certainly one of the ones we will consider. I don't think we would immediately shake hands and then send him back to Molde and say thanks for doing a great job. I think now he's certainly one of the candidates that will be considered, and also it'll be easy and seamless given the relationship that he's already fostered with the players. You can see the difference he's made, even in that post-match interview. Very honest, but also another thing that you can see as a subliminal thought there is the way that he refers to his players. It's terms of endearment. He talks of Marcus. Names. He talks of Paul. He talks of Jesse. So meaning that he's got a good relationship with the players. And
is that the difference between him and Jose Mourinho? The way that he's able to relate to those players, the fact that the players probably like him more and are playing for him more.
Well, you and I, we're Liverpool fans. We don't like Manchester United. That's well reputed. But I will say we can both say that we liked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a player because he was always a nice guy. He still is. And it comes through, it comes across. I have no doubt that the players will run through a brick wall for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now, especially with the week that they spent in Dubai, where they were able to bond, they were able to get to know each other a lot better. Those players showed that they want to play for this manager. Even when they had to be defensive in the second half against Tottenham Hotspur, they did a far better job than they did when they were asked to be defensive under the previous manager, Jose Mourinho. So you can see that the relationship is helping a lot.
And of course, David de Gea, I mean, he's put his hand up, and fantastic save after fantastic save. And there are those who say, you know what, had it not been for De Gea, but Manchester United, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said, is allowed to have a good goalkeeper.
I like that, yeah.
That's his job. That's what he does in that position. He keeps the opposition out. And David De Gea merely did his job versus Tottenham Hotspur, and it saw his team get the 3 points at the end of 90 minutes.
I'm gutted the rest of the team isn't here, because when we had the discussion about Jose Mourinho, one of the points that I think you and I particularly pointed out was the fact that players seem to be going backwards under Jose Mourinho.
Even De Gea seemed to be struggling.
Including David de Gea. Now, new manager comes in. What are we seeing? We're seeing the brick wall that we know to be David de Gea. He is unbeatable at his best. I mean, we saw games against West Ham a couple of seasons ago where he would pull off 9, 10 saves in a single game. Here, 11 saves, gilt-edged opportunities that would have gone in against any other keeper, but he was the difference.
Another one who made the difference, Paul Pogba as well. I mean, he is having good game after good game.
Shucks. He can do no wrong at the moment. Got himself a fantastic assist where he had no right to get an assist, because he gives that pass in his own half. If you haven't seen the match, make sure you look at the highlights, because Paul Pogba is sat in his own half and picks out Marcus Rashford with a curling effort, that where Marcus Rashford, all he has to do is one touch and bang in the back of the net. That's the mark of a good pass, and that's a mark of a player with confidence, that he was able to attempt that pass. Paul Pogba is back.
And let's talk about Tottenham a bit, Barry, and people will take a look at a match like this and say this is primarily the reason why Tottenham have not gone on to win the Premier League, have not gone on to win silverware, because the matches where they're supposed to do the business, they're falling short.
Sure, and I'll be one to say that, because every time that Tottenham slips up, I can then lift up my hand and say, I said it.
You say they would have been the top four.
I know. As you quite rightly point out every single time I say that. But yes, this is why Tottenham Hotspur is not going to challenge for the title, because you've got to beat those that are in and around you, and when you lose to them, you've got to be the ilk of a Chelsea, of a Liverpool, of a Manchester City, where yes, you're allowed to lose one game against the top 6 side, but you're not allowed to continue losing against the top 6, because you won't be there in the final shake-up. They will knock you out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, if you're part of the chasing pack, it's always difficult for you to remain in the frame if you're dropping points. The manner in which Tottenham is doing, they have lost consecutive home Premier League games for the first time since May 2015. Other notable results from the weekend: Declan Rice scored the only goal as West Ham beat Arsenal, while Marko Arnautovic appeared to bid farewell to the London Stadium. That's a transfer to watch over the next couple of weeks. Chelsea strengthened their bid for a top 4 finish in the Premier League after Willian's second half strike handed the Blues a 2-1 win over Newcastle at Stamford Bridge, and Mohamed Salah's penalty earned Liverpool a gritty 1-0 win at Brighton that moved them 7 points clear at the top. And tonight, Manchester City, the champions, have got a chance to cut that gap back to 4 when they entertain Wolves at the Etihad Stadium.
The league that makes football oh so beautiful, where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day, where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
It's Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wants it!
Luis Suarez scored twice, and Lionel Messi added another to give Barcelona a 3-0 win over Eibar and stay 5 points ahead of Atletico Madrid in La Liga. Messi scored his 400th league goal in his 435th appearance, the first player to reach the milestone, with Cristiano Ronaldo the only other to have scored more than 300 goals in the Spanish top flight. Barcelona, full value for being top of the league, and delivering performances like this is exactly what you need when you are out in front. But we could talk about Suarez, we could talk about Messi. I want to talk about someone else. Coutinho. Yeah. He showed up last night.
Yeah, he showed up because he was given a chance. He got a start, and I thought that he started off tentatively, but he grew into the game. And I think you see the need for game time. I think the more he's played by Ernesto Valverde, the more he's going to improve, the more he's going to create a rapport with his players. It was just a question of a player lacking confidence, not a question of the player not being able. We know what Coutinho can do. He's got the capacity, he's got the ability, and I think if he's given more opportunities to play, he's going to prove himself. And so rather than the cameo 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes that he'd been getting over the last couple of weeks, he got a full game to play, and he showed his value, because I thought in certain stretches of that game he was absolutely imperious.
He was even involved in the passage of play that resulted in the Lionel Messi goal, which means that he's a confidence player. He's going to get more confident, and Ernesto Valverde, the more chances he gives him. And speaking of Ernesto Valverde, I think putting Coutinho in where he's been in favour of Dembele as part of that front three in inverted commas also shows the ability to rotate effectively that Ernesto Valverde's got.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about this, Barry, and Barcelona were very clear from the start of the season that their main target for this season is the Champions League. They want to win the Champions League. And we also took a look at Barcelona in comparison with the other teams in Spain. They have the best squad. They've got the best players. They've got the best player in the world in Lionel Messi. And so for me, you take a look at that situation, retaining their La Liga crown is not something that's going to be, it's beyond question. They're going to retain the La Liga crown. So you can tell that Ernesto Valverde is rotating his squad and trying to make sure that he keeps his players sharp for the February, March, April period, which will shape their season insofar as the Champions League campaign is concerned. We saw him pull out Sergio Busquets with about 30 minutes remaining because he felt that he had done his job and he could bring in other players. So for me, that's just a pointer as to where the priorities for Barcelona lie this season.
Dembele came on late on. Has he won you over, as it were?
Yes, he's a starter ahead of Coutinho.
Right.
Any day.
He's the man.
If you're going into a big game as Barcelona, you are picking Lionel Messi, Suarez and Dembele. He's got a frightening pace, and that's the one perhaps arrow in his quiver, which gives him an edge over Coutinho. The fact that he's able to be direct and he's able to run past defenders. And we know that speed tends to unsettle defenders. And that's what Dembele's got. Whereas Coutinho, he's a glider. He's an Iniesta type player.
Yeah.
He will go through defenders with skill. And interplay. Whereas Dembele is able to mix it up. And if he can improve on his decision making, I think Coutinho's got a real fight on his hands to try and get that left attacking berth at Barcelona.
They do say it's a squad game. Other results coming out of La Liga. Former Real Betis player Dani Ceballos stunned his old club with a late free kick as Real Madrid snatched a dramatic 2-1 victory. Quick 30-second comment. Real Madrid got out of jail in this.
Yeah, they got out of jail pretty much in the same way that Manchester United got out of jail with Spurs.
Yeah.
Betis dominated this game, especially the second half.
Deserved more.
They deserved more. They did all the playing. And Real Madrid, of course, they made several changes. Marcelo was dropped. He's been war for the last month.
Yes.
Terrible at defending, and so he's been stuck on the bench. They throw in a few youngsters who showed a bit of gumption, but I don't think they're players that are good enough to compete at that level. They're triers, but they're not players that are going to see Real Madrid dominate matches. And for me, it would have been worrying for a Real Madrid fan to watch the manner in which they were dominated by a side like Real Betis.
Yeah.
Real Betis looked the better side.
They certainly did. And Antoine Griezmann ensured that Atletico Madrid kept the pressure on Barcelona by scoring the only goal in a 1-0 win over Levante.
Paolo Rossi, Marco van Basten, George Weah, Gabriel Batistuta, Alessandro Del Piero. Serie A has been home to some of the world's finest strikers. And now they welcome arguably the greatest of them all, Cristiano Ronaldo, the best of Italian football on Z.
Okay, let's get you up to date with football in Italy. It was, of course, the turn of the cup competition, Coppa Italia, instead of Serie A, which is on the back burner. Lazio were too good for Novara, 4-1. Sampdoria beaten by AC Milan. A very good result there for Gennaro Gattuso, who's under all sorts of pressure at AC Milan. That one ended 2-0. Bologna were also beaten by the same scoreline of Juventus. And then Torino also beaten 2-0 by Fiorentina at home. Inter Milan proved too good for Benevento. 6 they put past them, 2 in reply for the Minnows. And then Napoli with a 2-0 victory over Sassuolo. And so, the big guns, by and by, Barry, progressing to the next stage of the Coppa Italia.
Yeah, pretty much going to the form book. The big guns going through, and Inter Milan, good for them, putting 6 past. That's a confidence thing. It helps teams. We've got enough time to have a look at the CAF Champions League results very quickly. Wydad Casablanca beating ASEC Mimosas 5-2. 2. Club Africain beaten at home by Constantine of Algeria 1-0. TP Mazembe 2-0 over Ismaili. Simba Stars of Tanzania 3-0 over Sauro. But 2 results I want to look at quickly. Al Ahly 2-0 over Vita Club. That must have been some game. Didn't manage to catch it, but it must have been some football match. And then Lobby Stars 2-1 over Mamelodi Sundowns. Can't have gone down well with Pitso Mosimane.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be disappointed with that. I think he's generally now of the opinion that Mamelodi Sundowns is one of the big boys of African football.
Sure.
And he expects them to go and challenge and win no matter where they play. And so he'll be disappointed with that. But we know Mamelodi Sundowns has got quality.
Yeah.
They're the best team in South Africa. They've got a lot of players, a lot of options. And they'll be looking to bounce back in their next match this coming weekend and get their campaign on track.
Yeah, they certainly will, especially given the banter that preceded this match where there was talk of Nigerian football being better than South African, and now the Nigerians will be sitting back and saying, see, we told you. Well, what we told you is all about the sport of the weekend. We're done for today. We're back tomorrow for Top 8 Tuesday. Don't miss it. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manande, out.
Be sure to catch ZiFM Sport every weekday on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.